A wharfie estimates Auckland ports is half as efficient as it used to be because of problems switching to an automated system to load and unload freight containers. Some ships are waiting up to 12 days to unload at Ports of Auckland, and many retailers fear their shelves will be pretty lean as they approach the festive season. Last night, Matt Ball from Ports of Auckland told Checkpoint COVID's caused delays to the rollout of automation, but the system is working efficiently.
We misunderestimated the impact of COVID. We were going to go live with the first half of that automation in March, then we had the lockdown, and that just pushed everything back. And now we've gone half automated, but we've hit the busy part of the year. And so as a result, we've had to work harder. We're operating 2 terminals. We don't have full automation, which would have actually relieved some of that labour pressure. But it's not true to say that automation isn't working. We're very slow getting the ships in, but we're not slow in operating the trucks at the other end of the terminal, getting the containers on the trucks.
Matt Ball also said the ports are short of about 50 staff, including crane drivers, straddle operators and lashers. And he conceded that the company's performance at the moment isn't good enough. A port worker with decades of experience echoes that, but reckons the company's not being totally upfront about problems with automation, and it's customers that are getting a raw deal. We've disguised his voice to protect his identity.
Before automation, the Ports of Auckland regularly got best performing port in Oceania. Since automation's kicked in, it hasn't. So I can only put it down to automation and the lack of the workability with the system.
So, not COVID?
COVID's a very convenient excuse. They had problems with automation long before COVID kicked in. They've got issues with communication between the crane builders and the Ports of Auckland. The software packages, numerous times they have pushed back the go-live dates because the system's just not working. It's automation is a major problem, I think.
Because obviously we had Matt Ball on the program and he says that there's nothing wrong with automation, and in fact in a statement he said, "I want to stress that our automation project is actually going well. It's not the problem. In fact, because half the terminal is loading trucks using robots, it's actually helping," he reckons.
Yeah. And there is a problem. I mean, they've split the terminal in half, effectively using one half for storage for the automated straddles and the other half for manned straddles. So when the auto straddles aren't working properly, you've got half the terminal that can't be accessed. And it's not just the straddles. I mean, they've got 3 new cranes down the end of the berth where they're having issues with. They can really only use one crane at a time when they're discharging the ship, because if they try to use all 3, the software shuts down. They have to basically, once they've discharged the ship, they then have to turn around and move the ship round to the other older, what we'll term the older cranes, so that they can load them. So it's double handling and moving ships. It's crazy.
So how would you describe, the efficiency down there at the moment?
I can't really use that word. Not that good. It's certainly probably 50%, if that, on what it used to be.
At the moment, the port's 50 people short. So what does that mean on the ground in practical terms?
It depends, I suppose, on where those 50 people come from. If you've got straddle drivers short, you're obviously going to struggle there. Lashers, you definitely need lashers to discharge the ship. So, it's probably right across the board. Straddle drivers, lashers, the whole system breaks down if you just don't have the guys to do it.
When you look at this, I mean, in terms of quality of service that you're delivering to people who are waiting on containers, retailers, people desperate to get stock, what kind of service do you reckon they're getting out of the port right now?
Shit, basically. That's simple as that. It's crap. If I was a business owner waiting for a container, I would be furious.
So what did you think, listening to Matt Ball from the Ports of Auckland explain the situation last night?
I was angry. because it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what other people say, the company will say that's not true.
Why have you decided to speak out today?
Because I think that, the time has come where the port has got to be answerable to the people of Auckland. They seem to be a Teflon-coated company. Well, they think they are. They have a responsibility to people. They just seem to ride roughshod over everybody. And, I mean, I used to be a proud watersider.
What do they need to do to fix it, and can it be fixed by Christmas?
Well, they definitely need more workers, but therein lies a problem because do you train them up quickly to get them on site? In which case, then, do you have non-competent workers working there just to fill a void?
And how worried would you be about that if they were pushing people through training pretty quickly?
Well, look at the history in the last 2 years. You've had 2 deaths. I would be scared. I wouldn't want to be working in an environment where I've got people working beside me that don't have the basic, well, they've probably got the basic skills, but they haven't got the experience, and experience speaks volumes down there. But as for the other part, will it be fixed before Christmas? I honestly couldn't answer that because I aren't privy to what they are thinking. The software system, unless they can get that up and running, I can't see it happening, no. The ports have brought this on themselves, really, and it's a shame.
And that's a worker from Ports of Auckland. Well, we wanted to find out more about what is being done to solve the problem, so we invited a few people who might have some answers on the program. The chair of Ports of Auckland, the company's CEO, the Minister for Infrastructure, that's Grant Robertson, they all declined to be interviewed. Last night, Ports of Auckland told Checkpoint it's working with the Transport Ministry, so we approached them for an interview too. But they said no. They did, however, provide a statement. It says the ministry is leading a cross-agency group of government officials who are watching the situation closely. It acknowledges heavy congestion of containerised shipping, particularly at the Ports of Auckland, where there's been delays due to staff shortages and a recent fatality of a port worker. They go on to say congestion at Asian and Australian ports has added to the problem, and there is limited capacity to shift the containers to rail and road freight. The ministry says the International Air Freight Scheme is being used to import time-sensitive critical goods, including medicine. Now, if you are wondering, the Supply Chain Interagency Group comprises of the Ministry of Transport, Maritime New Zealand, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and Ministry for Primary Industries, as well as NZ Trade and Enterprise, and they're watching closely.